One of the cooler things I got to work on that I really enjoyed was during one of the Star Spangled celebration events. They had to dock the tall ship Eagle, the Coast Guard ship, and we documented that. And so I was with the bay pilots on their little boat that they moved the pilots around on, and followed the tugboat and the Eagle as they brought her in, which is really a bit of a dance. They said it's a whole lot harder than doing the big ships because they said they're just much lighter boats. They said it's almost like an eggshell. So this was a lot of fun. I had a great time doing this.
During the week this story was recorded, the Coast Guard, police, tugs, and pilots were busy performing their normal duties, but they also had additional responsibilities, escorting and docking the tall ships and Navy vessels participating in the Star-Spangled Spectacular. All of this special event activity was coordinated by Sail Baltimore.
If I can get aboard.
When the ships reached the area just south of the Key Bridge, the pilots who brought them up the bay are relieved by pilots who will coordinate the docking of the vessels with tugs and the ship's crew.
Hey Chris, port side ladder.
Port side, okay.
The pilot launch delivers the relief pilot who will dock the ship and removes the pilot who brought the ship up the bay.
As we transit, we're fairly competent mariners. Fortunately, we don't have the resident expert, knowledge that these guys do. They have just thousands and thousands of hours of experience, and it makes it so much easier for us to do these transits without, any difficulty.
Christine returns Merrill to shore and repeats the process many times on this busy day. Pilots and tugs have to deal with a wide variety of ships every day. During an event like Spectacular, it's even more extreme when they have to shift from working with huge modern warships such as the Oak Hill.
Captain, this is my relief. Roger Hall. How you doing, Captain? How are you, sir?
To tall ships like the Coast Guard cutter Eagle, which are much smaller and more fragile.
Helmsman, rudder, midshipman.
You're taking something, a ship, and it's kind of like you kind of doing a dance. You got to do the right things at the right time to kind of, again, get it to where you need to be. And so, you're always thinking ahead. You come in at a safe speed, and it's just really the approach, because a lot of times if it doesn't work out, it can make the job tougher, or you might have to almost like start over again, and sometimes that's difficult with, big, heavy ships. We had to go into a kind of tight parking space. The tug, its capabilities made the job happen a whole lot easier, because we only had one tug, and really this morning we could have used two.
Basically, there's like 4 different whistle commands. What we're doing is answering the pilot. However, now I like to talk. The old days, the whistle signals were in use, but now I like to talk because we're being recorded. So everything we say and everything the pilot says is recorded. So if the pilot is saying a command and I don't answer it on the radio, it might be perceived that I missed the order. So that's why I talk on the radio. Some of the older guys still use the whistle signal. And that's the most important thing, is that you don't miss their orders.
Engine stop.
Engine stop, right!
It's a very busy day in the harbor. Working with the Navy gray hulls over in North Locust Point are some McAllister tugs. Captain Mark Rooney takes a minute to demonstrate the steering and speed control of his workhorse.
The units on this tug can be turned in any direction, so we can actually put the force and direct it in a certain way to make the boat go sideways. And just by directing these units in the direction you want to go, we can maneuver a vessel. If you can imagine 2 large outboard motors that can turn 360 degrees, and those are propulsion units. They're made by Rolls-Royce on this vessel, and they can be turned in any direction, and they can direct the boat in the direction you point them. You can work them against each other to stop. They're always turning, and in order to stop the vessel, you go in what's called transverse arrest, which is turning them this way. They go against each other, and the vessel stops. to go forward, you direct the propulsion that pushes the vessel forward. And this is the throttle that allows you to have more power. And if you want to go in reverse, then you reverse them. And now the propulsion is going in reverse. If I want to go towards the dock, I can direct one of them towards the dock. And it pushes the vessel towards the dock.
The old days, we used to have a big wheel on a tug and a diesel electric engine, and you used to have to back and fill all the time. And this, now you're just turning around on a dime. It's really amazing. This is much easier. It takes a lot of less stress, it takes a lot off of you.
Go ahead, give me a little touch back before you do that. Back the bow off. Okay, all stop. Now slack your rope, drop back towards midship.